Ethiopia is a landlocked country located in the Horn of Africa in East Africa. It is bordered by Eritrea, Djibouti, Somalia, Kenya, South Sudan, and Sudan. Its capital, Addis Ababa, is also the political capital of Africa, hosting the African Union. Ethiopia's geography is strikingly diverse. It has high mountain plateaus, deep rift valleys, fertile lowlands, and volcanic landscapes. With a population of around 130 million people, Ethiopia is the second most populous country in Africa. Its economy is one of the fastest growing in the region, driven mainly by agriculture, services, and state-led infrastructure projects. But the country is facing deep economic pressures and political tensions. And there are also the ambitious dreams of becoming a regional power. And it is these ambitions that explain why Ethiopia has now begun construction of what it calls Africa's biggest airport. In January 2026, construction officially began on the Bishoftu International Airport, located about 40 kilometers southeast of Addis Ababa. When completed, this airport is expected to handle up to 110 million passengers every year, making it the largest airport on the continent by capacity. For comparison, Cairo International Airport is currently Africa's busiest and handles a fraction of that number. Right now, Ethiopia's main international gateway is Addis Ababa Bole International Airport. But Bole is rapidly reaching its limits. The Bishoftu Airport is not just bigger, it is also smarter in its location. It sits at an altitude of 1,910 meters, nearly 400 meters lower than the Bole Airport. That difference matters. At lower altitudes, aircraft can take off with more fuel and cargo. This removes what airline officials call a technical handicap that has limited long-haul flights from Addis Ababa. With Bishoftu, Ethiopian Airlines can operate more profitable direct routes to destinations like North America without reducing payload. The project is massive. It is expected to cost $12.5 billion, with the first phase scheduled to be completed by 2030. The airport will eventually have 4 runways, space to park 270 aircraft, and an initial capacity of 60 million passengers, which will later scale up to 110 million. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has described the airport as the largest aviation infrastructure project in Africa's history.
Ethiopian Airlines never had a journey without challenges, and never will Ethiopia have a journey without challenges. It is imperative to understand very well the context of the paths we take and our enemies take, so that Ethiopia could become a country that stands up to challenges and overcomes them.
The project is being led by Ethiopian Airlines, Africa's largest carrier. The state-owned airline has expanded aggressively in recent years, adding new routes. Ethiopian Airlines will fund about 30% of the airport's cost, while the rest will come from international lenders. So far, about $6 billion has already been secured.
We have submitted the feasibility study of the project to these potential financiers, and many of them have expressed interest to participate, and they have started their due diligence. So far, about $6 billion have been pledged, but we expect that it will increase.
Financing interest has come from across the world, from the African Development Bank to lenders in West Asia, China, Europe, and the United States.
Various financiers from Middle East, China, Europe, and the US have been involved. So we'll put all these as a pool and access it from there. What I want to emphasize on this is that Ethiopian Airlines invested 610 million US dollars on this initial construction. The airline will avail this from its coffers within 1 year.
ይሄንን በራሱ አቅም ነው በመጪው አንድ ዓመት ውስጥ
For Ethiopia, the airport is not just about travel. The aim is to turn Ethiopia into a major global transit hub, rivaling places like Dubai and London Heathrow, and redirecting travel flows through East Africa instead of West Asia or Europe. But these ambitions exist alongside serious challenges. Ethiopia is landlocked, and that remains one of its biggest economic constraints. More than 95% of Ethiopia's trade passes through the Djibouti's port, costing the country up to $2 billion every year in port fees and logistics. This dependence is why Ethiopia is desperate for access to the Red Sea. In January 2024, Ethiopia signed a controversial agreement with Somaliland, a self-declared state that Somalia considers part of its territory. The deal would give Ethiopia a 50-year lease on a stretch of coastline near the port of Berbera, potentially allowing a naval base and commercial access to the sea. But the agreement triggered a diplomatic storm. Somalia declared it illegal and ratified international opposition. Regional powers like Egypt and Turkey were drawn into the dispute, each with strategic interests in the Red Sea, which is one of the world's most important maritime corridors. This broader geopolitical struggle explains why Ethiopia is investing so heavily in infrastructure. The Bishoftu Airport joins another mega project of Ethiopia, and that is the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or GERD. In September 2025, Ethiopia inaugurated the continent's largest hydroelectric project on the Blue Nile. The dam is enormous. It is 170 meters tall, that's nearly 2 kilometers long, and designed to generate 5,150 megawatts of electricity. That's more than double Ethiopia's current power capacity. Yet nearly 45% of Ethiopians still lack access to electricity, and frequent blackouts disrupt daily life and business. For Ethiopia, GERD is a symbol of national pride and economic transformation. It promises industrial growth, regional power exports, and energy security. But for Egypt, which depends on the Nile for 97% of its water, the dam is seen as an existential threat. Egyptian leaders argue that any reduction in Nile flow could destabilize their country socially and economically. Although engineers say the dam does not consume water and only regulates its flow, the issue remains deeply political. Analysts say GERD is as much about power and national security as it is about water. Like the dam, the Bishoftu Airport is presented as a leap into the future, but not everyone is convinced. Farmers displaced by the airport project have raised concerns about resettlement, housing, and jobs.
With the current high cost of living, the youth is the one in trouble. They have given our parents houses, but the youth got nothing. Renting a house is very expensive. Finding a job is also difficult because some are educated and some are not. So the future of the youth is at stake.
Now, whether these mega projects will deliver inclusive growth or deepen existing tensions remains an open question. But one thing is for sure, Ethiopia is positioning itself to become the gateway of Africa. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you next week with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.